Good morning. This is section 1 of 6 on creating a stained glass panel. Step 1 is going to be prepare your pattern. Step 2 is preparing your glass. Step 3 will be cutting and grinding. Step 4 is foiling. Step 5 is soldering. And step 6 is cleaning, finishing, patina, and framing. So I'm just going to break this up into small bite-sized segments, give you as many tips as I can. By the way, my name is Sandy. You can reach me at spectrumartist@yahoo.com. And this is step number 1. I've got my pattern underneath here. There's my pattern. And you'll notice that I've got it laid out ready to trace. I am a firm believer in tracing your pattern and gluing it onto glass. It comes out perfect every time, and trust me, after 15 plus years of doing this and thousands of panels, sun catchers, windows, entryways, etc., this really works. So if you're frustrated with getting your pieces to fit perfect, hopefully these segments will help you a little bit. So the first thing is the tools and supplies. So you'll notice I've got a special paper here. It's got waxy side on one side and regular paper on the top side. This is called freezer paper, and I literally buy it in the rolls from the butcher. So you don't have to. You can just get the roll straight off the shelf at the grocery store. But I like the big format. This is a 24-inch. I also over here, I've got a 36-inch. That's a special order from my supplier, but it works great. I've got some large pieces of carbon paper. You can order those from pretty much any stained glass supplier. When I sold it, let's see, it's a 22 by 34 inch for $1.25. Pretty cheap. So any stained glass supplier can get it for you. I've got some tape, I've got a straight edge, and I've got a ballpoint pen. So for step number 1, that's all we're going to use. And I'll go through the layering process here. I've got a plain piece of freezer paper. Underneath is my original pattern. And I think I posted this on some Facebook groups when I was making this. I've got couple sheets put together of carbon paper, and then I have another layer of freezer paper underneath. So what's going to happen is I can see my pattern through, so I don't have to trace on top of my original pattern. So my original pattern will still stay pristine and perfect. I'll just trace right on top of this. The carbon paper will lay down the third layer here. So what I'll end up with is my original, a copy, and then my layout page. After I get this all traced out, I'll go back, and I usually just start in a corner, doesn't matter where, but I'll start numbering them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, doesn't matter how, just number every single piece. And then I also grain direction. Which way do I want the grain to go? So if you can see this is going to be a flower petal here. So I'll just do a couple lines as I go through there. So after you trace it all, number each piece and grain direction each piece. Then the next step number 2, is going to be preparing the glass, which is selecting your glass, colors and pieces. This is my rack of scrap pieces that I'll probably pull from. And we'll use some pattern shears and get this all cut apart, and then glued onto the glass. So this is section 1. Step number 2 will follow up. Hope you enjoy the process.